And coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment where fish murder has occurred and we've got Scooby and the gang on it. Sports Allegedly.
Welcome, everybody.
I should have said something about Carousel.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly.
And we are also learning words today.
Yes, we were word choosing. On this February 10th, the day before the big game. The big football. Can we say that?
Allegedly, it's going to be
called
the highest
Super Bowl. Is that what
it's going to be? The highest viewed Super Bowl in history.
I think it will be because of Swift for sure.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her later.
And not the commercials because nobody cares about the commercials anymore.
No, because that's when everybody is.
I think people just actually want to watch a football game.
That is this new right there?
What? Yeah, Craig just put that on.
Wow. Texas fans just can't get over Baker Mayfield, can they?
Nah.
The love affair, the hate affair, our love affair.
I was wondering, what are Craig's hours for the police chief? Because
he's the fire chief.
Oh, for the fire chief.
He's wannabe police chief.
Well, because I was out by his house yesterday, and it was like 5 o'clock, and he was just leaving to drive into Chelsea in the company truck at 5 o'clock. So.
Nosy ass.
No, I was at somebody else's house, and who just happens to be his neighbor, and I watched him slowly.
Sean's got he's got an FBI service, or he's got a secret, what is it called? A detective service on the sideline.
Yeah, I'm a private dick.
Yeah, you've always been a public one. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's start with that OU softball team, shall we? Let's do it. Sean's like, I didn't realize they were playing.
No, I did realize. I just didn't know it was today. I thought it was going to be.
Well, it started 2 days ago.
I guess it is Saturday.
We're obviously going to finish up with the Super Bowl because we're going to
yeah.
talk about that ad nauseum. But we're going to start with OU softball.
Somebody's going to be nauseated.
Softball, 57 games in a row now that they've won. Obviously, they beat the record last year on their way to the softball national championship. But,
they beat the OU football.
But last night, Washington, who's ranked 10 or 7th, depending on what poll. Softball, you got to fix this.
But
there's always two different.
Washington played last year. They were in the Final Four, right?
Oh, they'll be in Oklahoma City for sure. They're a good team.
They were last season, weren't they? They played Florida State.
It's been a long time ago, and
didn't they play Florida State, or
they
played them?
Might have. But anyway, they play them with Long Beach State and Duke. That was the opening. That was the game.
Go, Lady Dirtbags!
In Puerto Vallarta. Now, Duke's also ranked. But OU won 3-0 against Duke. The first game was Long Beach State, beat them 3-0 against Duke. And then last night was Washington. Interesting game. The Washington Huskies got 3 earned runs from a obstruction of the plate. Now, if you watch the replay of that game,
well, Bob, I'm not sure what the hell that means.
Well, no. So what it was is
they put a tank ass in front of the plate and just say no.
Our catcher Hansen goes up there to catch the ball, has the ball before the gal slides into her. She moves up into the baseline to tag her.
She's supposed to.
She's got the ball.
Yeah.
She's not supposed to let her go around and then tag. And they called it obstruction. 3 earned runs puts Washington.
How do you get 3 runs out of one?
Because there were 3 people on base.
So they all 3 got to come in?
I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know this rule. I mean, there was a lot of talk on different various medias.
Are we playing? Well, no, you said they were in Puerto Vallarta. Are they playing by Mexican rules?
I don't know, but I thought it was a horrible call. There was
Craig Sampson, Texas rules.
There was another call that went actually for OU when Washington was going to score. But anyway, it comes down to it. 3-3. Ludlam singles actually in the 6th to tie it, and then Boone with the single gets our freshman. God, I can't remember her name. Girl, her first at bat hit a grand slam. I'm gonna have to go back and look at her name. But anyway, true freshman. Anyway, they score.
It's very hard to find softball news on ESPN and any other site.
Well, I don't think
you have to go to the. You have to go.
Well, I couldn't find it on Of course, it was a streaming, and I'm an old man, so I really don't know how to stream all that stuff. So I'm keeping it up on Twitter, and it was just back and forth, waiting to refresh. But anyway, great win. And early tests already for OU, 4-0 on the season. Loves Field, 4,200 capacity. Stadium should be open March 1st is the goal. That'll be the game. That's their first game.
Oh, they already had one now.
No, that's why they're away. Now, they say it's going to be finished, but obviously there's going to be other work that needs to be done to it, but it's going to be good enough.
I miss Good Enough. He was a great quarterback at Tulsa.
What? That's not his. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I
It was
thought you
Good
were like Farrat.
No, Farrat played too, but Good Enough was the one that went, and Good Enough played for the Talons.
4,200 seats from going from that to 1,600, which is Marita Hines Field right now. So huge increase.
Wait, so we're going up to 42?
Yes, going up to 42. So number one team in softball continues, and what's great about it is Kelly Maxwell, the transfer from Oklahoma State, played dynamic pitching as far as being in relief in that Washington game. So good job to the
Long Beach State.
Good job to the lady. That was at the last game today, 11-3.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is it said 6 hours ago.
Yeah, they won today 11-3. So that puts them at 4-0, and Long Beach State's 0-2. Both lost.
Poor lady dirtbags.
Well, both losses coming to the Sooners. So, all right, moving on. A little bit of basketball news. Bedlam is tonight. OU.
You snuck one out.
Yeah.
We were actually down. By the time I actually got the game on, we were down 4 points, 4 or 6 points.
That's 4 points.
And I think you realized that I was watching it.
I think
in
it was
the basement.
56-52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in here watching it in the basement, and I never told
Trying
you.
to-
I never told you.
It's not working well in the living room.
And you come out, and you're like, "You watching the basketball game?"
So
I was like, "Yeah," because I'll be out in a minute.
I snuck out there as I was finishing up my
You
notes.
cut the last 30 seconds.
No, I got the last minute. I think
It was 30 seconds.
Oh, was that all
Yeah,
it
it was 30 seconds. It feels like a minute because every time
Are you getting
every time a basketball game gets down into the final minute, you go ahead and extend that final minute by an hour.
Are you getting more into basketball though yet? Have you? Or are you just waiting till
I'm
after
just
tomorrow's
watching.
game?
I'm just
Is that-
looking at.
is that what
I'm
it
just
is?
looking at stats and standings. And,
I mean, we'd like to talk good about the Thunder, but they lost by 35 today against.
oh my God, did they?
Yeah, to the.
Oh,
to-
the
Mavs. Yeah.
Oh, let's go look at that.
35-17.
Hold on. Let me show everybody this. Look at it.
35-17 record. Is that because?
NBA?
Is that because we
Of course.
traded Trey Mann? Is that what it is? Is he?
I don't know who that is.
Vucevic? We did acquire Gordon Hayward in the
come
trade.
on, Chicago, really? Overtime to the Magic? You suck.
We did.
Yeah, how did the trade deadline go? I avoided that because I don't care.
I looked at it a little bit. I thought the Knicks improved. I thought.
Oh my God, you got spanked by the Mavericks.
Yeah, they killed us.
Shy
yes.
Jigless only had 25 points.
As you know, if you listen to this podcast, Sean does not know names of anybody.
I do.
No.
I just don't care.
I think it was Alfred Reed and no, he'll know some football names, but anybody else.
I know Michael McDonald.
He doesn't know.
He had a hit in the 70s.
He was a cruise boat captain or a ship singer, wasn't he? And a captain.
Well, there's Lucky Donkey Kick.
Yeah, he wow, that was just a butt kicking. Well, it was 47-30 right off the bat, first quarter.
Yeah, I can see.
Down by
Everybody can
17.
see that. If you can't see that, then you're blind.
35-17.
You did outscore him in the second, but just not enough.
35-17. Looks like right now we're probably sitting at the 3 seed. See if the Timberwolves lost, Sean, because the Clippers are right now currently the 1 seed.
The last time I looked, Thunder were number 1.
No, not now. Did Timberwolves play tonight? Doesn't look like they did.
Let's go see this.
So we would probably be 3rd right now after today's loss.
How did they go from number 1 like Mondays, like last Sunday?
Well, because they play more than 1 game a week.
Oh, so the Clippers and the Nuggets caught your ass.
Oh, we're down to 4, but we do have the tiebreaker against the
Phoenix?
Nuggets. We do have the Nuggets tiebreaker.
Phoenix, you got it against Phoenix. Phoenix Suns.
We need to get out of that 4th seed though. If you're the Thunder, you want to be 2nd or 3rd. Well, we're not a good matchup for the Kings either.
You can always beat the Pelicans.
Yes, need to be the 2 seed, as is right now, and then you've got.
I mean, Zion's only playing so he can pay for all those women.
Then you've got the 2 play-in games: Pelicans, Mavericks, Lakers, and Jazz. But long way to go. Getting ready to be an All-Star break. It's tough to get into NBA too. I mean, college basketball.
I will tell you that it is.
College basketball is rolling a little bit
more
for me because I'm watching NBA's it's just much different. Oh, also on a quick news front as far as basketball, shout out to the OU Lady Sooners. They're currently in first place in the Big 12 right now with only one loss.
Very, very surprising because they had
conference.
a slow start to the season.
One loss, yeah.
Whereas the men had a fast start, and they have slowed down. This is their first win in 3 games.
Well, that was their first win against OSU in 4 games.
In 4 games.
3 games. They had 3. No, it was 3 because this is the 4th game. They had a 3-game winning streak. Yeah, so losing streak. Sorry. Yeah, in the 4th game. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant they lost 4 in a row.
No. This is the 4th game. So in 4 games, this is their first win in 4 games.
Right. No,
but isn't their first win? Or did they beat Kansas State the other night? Is that
beat them big?
They lost to TCU.
Yes.
They lost to
the UCF was a bad loss.
UCF.
I thought. Yeah. Flip. Go over, Sean, to the as we're talking a little bit of basketball. Flip on the men's college ranking, just top 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about.
I know Houston is above Kansas right now, aren't they? No, they're not.
No, Kansas. UConn looks good. Purdue.
Kansas just keeps getting that D. They're like,
how
is an 18-4 North Carolina at number 3?
The thing, they just lost. They just lost.
I know. I love North Carolina, but still, this is something that just rubs me.
They lost to Clemson. I watched the end of that game.
It's perennial NBA, perennial college basketball powerhouses always get the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, correct. No, I totally agree. Clemson, that was their 2nd win against that program all time.
I will never take Arizona to win the title again.
Was that both of us last year?
We were screwed
right
off the bat.
Arizona really killed us, and we will not pick them to go far. No. I thought after today's win, I thought that Kansas continued. Kansas and Iowa State, if they don't win the Big 12 in basketball, I would be surprised if it's not one of those.
Well, Houston,
Houston could be there. It's just I've watched them a little bit. They're very.
Didn't Kelvin Sampson beat Bill Self?
No, they might have already.
I thought he beat him at Illinois and.
No, he was at Indiana. Oh, when Bill was at Illinois, that's a possibility. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't pay much attention to basketball, but when I do, I am correct. Suck it.
Well, where was Kelvin, at Indiana at the time, or was he?
He was at OU.
Oh, okay.
Because he went to Illinois. Because remember, Bill Self went to Illinois. He went from Tulsa to Illinois.
Talks amongst yourselves. I think there's a time gap there, because you have to remember that Kelvin was at Houston Rockets for quite a lot of time. You think that?
Let me go look.
You think that Kelvin was at OU and beat Bill Self when he was at Illinois? Yeah.
So I think those timelines packed up because then the Kelvin Sampson.
No, because I think Kelvin had a 10-year no, but Bill has been at Kansas for longer. Time flies when we're old.
He's been there forever. Remember, because he took over after Dick Lane. Dick Lane.
Roy Williams.
No.
Yes.
Dick Lane. Yes. He left. He said, "F you. I'm done with this."
Well, there was a lot of people at OU back in the day, if you want to, go back to a little history, that did not like Kelvin Sampson at OU because they played a very boring style. Well,
style, but you went to the Final Four
exactly.
How many times?
You went from Tubbs, though, that was run and gun, to most of OU's games were. Most of OU games was.
Okay, so 94 to 2006.
Got it. And then he was Indiana 6-8.
6-8.
Okay.
And then Bucks and the Rockets after.
Doesn't matter. That was about 10 years. Yeah.
William Self.
So no, but there was kind of a boring. Most of the scores were 52-50. And me and Sean were before we got on here. We were looking at some basketball scores from college, and it's amazing how different you see. Like Gonzaga beat Kentucky today, and that was like 89.
He's born in Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's an OU guy. Went to OSU.
And so what?
And so
Illinois 2000-2003. So that would line up.
Well, look at you. Now you said they beat him though. Okay. Anyway.
Well, I don't know, but I know that he was in Illinois, and I do believe that OU played them in the tournament.
Oh, possible. I think you're wrong. But anyway,
it could be. Or they could have played him in another tournament with those little.
God, man, that's a long time ago to think he was at Illinois since 2003. So that means he's been at Kansas.
Well, look, he spent 3 years at Tulsa.
Is that 20 years now?
Yeah,
21 years at Kansas.
You're not kidding. I think he's one of the longest tenured coaches in a program.
Roy was probably pretty close to that, though, too.
But
it seems like he started.
Roy's gone.
I know, but I mean, at Kansas, he was there for quite a while, too.
He was, but Roy's gone now.
Did Roy take over after Larry Brown, right after they won the championship? Was he the replacement for Larry Brown? Can you Google that? Kansas basketball coaches? Because Larry Brown won the championship against Tubbs. And actually...
the only reason why he went it because Roy left to go to...
North Carolina, sure.
Yeah.
Which is alma mater.
And, of course, he took over for fucking... What's his nuts? I can't remember that coach's name. One of the greatest coaches of all time.
Well, it wasn't Dean Smith because...
Where's Dean Smith?
No, they hired the older guy for like 1 year, and I can't remember his name. Then Roy took over.
Oh, no, but...
what about Matt Doherty? Actually, Matt Doherty came in behind...
Did he come in behind him?
Yeah, there was the older guy, and his name might have been Dick Lane, but I'm kidding, but it's pretty close.
Dick Lane!
But he looks like...
Ladies and gentlemen, find me on all the socials. I am Dick Lane.
As we carouse on to the next subject. But Kansas, Iowa State looks like the winners of the basketball. And so everyone all 6 people that are listening tonight going, basketball? Are they done with talking basketball? Yeah, we're done talking
We could go to
basketball.
hockey if you want.
No, we're definitely not talking hockey. So
because they have a better All-Star game than the NFL.
They do.
Again, losing more and more viewers. What was that score? 64-62?
In hockey?
No.
Oh, that'd have been
in
fun.
That stupid Pro Bowl game.
Oh, yeah, that was an interesting... I like the tug of war, though. That was actually interesting. I mean, it really was.
Okay, so now we have...
But it was almost like...
we've taken the Pro Bowl and taken it from an All-Star game where, champions go to play, and we've turned it into a summer camp.
No, it really is. It's
a summer camp.
It is. It's all about...
It's a weekend camp for your adult, overpaid kids.
Yeah, it is. It is.
James Naismith was there from until 1907.
Yeah, losing record, cool. And so
he invented the game.
Well, he lost a lot at Kansas, apparently.
Well, it took a minute to get the game correct.
But he is,
Welcome to
fun
history.
fact, only coach in Kansas basketball history with a losing record.
Dr. Forrest Fogg.
Yeah, because it's Fogg Fieldhouse, whatever.
Fogg.
So you got Larry Brown in '88.
Oh,
so
man, these guys are crazy.
Now let's see if
Ted Owens.
Let's see if Roy was next. He is. Wow.
Yeah, Larry, Roy.
Well, Self's been there longer.
Yep. Well, that was interesting, everyone.
They're like the Steelers, though, a little bit, if you think about it. Coaching, they had 3 in like 60 years.
These guys have way more titles than the Steelers.
Well, that's true. And I would say it's easier, but is it? Is it easier to win a basketball, or is it easier to win?
It's definitely easier to win a basketball.
Yeah, okay.
Especially once they let
you only need to have a couple guys,
especially
right?
once they let the African Americans in.
Yeah, so that's why
it became way easier.
That's why those older guys lost.
Which older guys?
Those older coaches, because they were racist.
Oh, horribly racist.
All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about coaching changes. As we said, we were going to talk about college football. I want to talk a little bit about coaching changes. We talked a little bit about how bad NIL, I call it NIL, not the NEIL or the NIEL. It's the NIL.
Okay, nobody cares. You just lost like 8 of our listeners.
But we talked a little bit about last week as far as the college coaching is just a huge dynamic of people moving. The goal now, it seems to be, some goals were to be college football coaches and stay at these programs. Now it's becoming the NFL is the goal. Even for some of these college coaches.
Oh,
now, some of the ones that are embedded, and I'm not talking about, you can't say, Kirby Smart would never go to the NFL. Probably not. But look what he's built. So you're not going to leave a blue blood like that. It's not like Saban ever went to the NFL. It's not like Bob Stoops ever went to the NFL. Saban did, but I'm talking Alabama.
Technically, Bob Stoops is coaching in the NFL D-League.
Kinda. But no, what I'm saying is after...
Which, by the way, USXFL is starting soon.
Oh, we're going to have to pick teams, aren't we?
No, I have to pick.
They've changed a little bit.
I have to pick between the Battlehawks.
There was a big merger.
I have huge merger. Nobody heard about that. I have to pick between the Battlehawks and the Stallions.
So when you think about the coaching changes, we're going to just talk a little bit about, Mike McDonald, Ravens defensive coordinator, got hired at Seattle. Rumor right off the bat was that Grubb, who went from the Washington Huskies, championship runner-ups, to Alabama, followed DeBoer to Alabama as his OC. That was immediately talking, oh, hey, he's going. Boom, it happens. Then you've got Chip Kelly. He left a head coaching job at UCLA. I think that they could have been like 10. If I read it right, it was $10 million guaranteed if they would have fired him next year. There was a buyout plus whatever salary was remaining in that schedule or that year left. It was $10 million. And so they turned around and he was a bowl participant last year. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, where did the Moore kid go? I've got to think about that. And I forgot
here
to
it is. His buyout jobs from $8.5 million to $4.27 million in next December.
Next, yes.
But if they fire him,
no, that was the.
Okay, that was
$8
the
million
fire
plus whatever he would have. What he would have earned. Should have been about $10 million.
But they owe. So him leaving, I swear that I saw it was like $1.5 million for him leaving.
No, it would have been almost 10.
No, 1.5 for him leaving. Him leaving for him himself.
Oh, he had to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
There was something about $1.5 million that needed to be handed blah, 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 for him leaving to go to Ohio State.
I just thought that he's going to be a head coach. Now he's going to be a coordinator, which there is some connection. Ryan Day was his quarterback when he was coaching New Hampshire.
He was at Delaware.
Delaware, sorry, not New Hampshire. It was Delaware.
Oh.
And he was the Blue Hens. And so that, and also, I didn't realize this. Ryan Day was a staff member at the 49ers when he was the head coach there. So, but that tells you a lot, right? Then Jeff Lafley, we talked about last week a little bit because that had just come across when we did our last pod. Was he left to be he was the head coach at Boston College?
He left to go to Green Bay, and then Grubb snubbed DeBoer to go to Seattle Seahawks.
It was New Hampshire. Sorry, I was right. It was New Hampshire.
Well, you kept saying Delaware in the house.
Delaware. It was New Hampshire. Sorry, New Hampshire.
Well, nobody cares.
University of New Hampshire.
All right. Well, nobody really cares.
I had to correct myself, though. I hate being wrong.
Bunch of weird uppity white Northerners.
It was University of New Hampshire.
Yeah, you heard us uppity white Northerners.
My apologies. I had that.
I don't apologize.
But anyway, what's funny though is you look at who Will Howard transferred.
Mm-hmm. Will Howard transferred and then transferred again.
Yeah, but he's transferred to Ohio State, so it's going to be interesting to see what Chip Kelly does with him because
didn't Howard transfer to?
He's at Ohio State.
No, but he transferred somewhere and then transferred back.
No, that was all rumor.
No, that was what's his nuts.
But anyway, going back to Bill O'Brien with Lafley leaving Boston.
Gundy did that.
Boston College. Boston College. Bill O'Brien will be announced.
Bill O'Brien, and you said that he was going.
So that's what opened up Chip Kelly. And, rumor had it last year that Chip had interviewed for the Cincinnati job. So, UCLA's not an easy job.
Cincinnati head coach?
Yeah, not the NFL type, the college type, the Bearcats.
You think it would have been better you think Joe Burrows would have had a better season?
No, the Bearcats.
I'm just saying, but do you think...
The Bearcats. Not the Bengals.
But if he'd went to the Bengals, do you think Joe Burrow would have had a better season?
Just wouldn't have made the Super Bowl.
Just as long as they don't make the Super Bowl, that's all you care about, isn't it?
Well, it's just my prediction. Anyway.
Hey, we have one more year on that?
It's forever.
Oh, I thought it was 3 years.
It's forever.
I thought 3 years.
No, I made the bet that Joe Burrow, let me remind our audience, will never go back to the Super Bowl with the Bengals. That was all I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who was 3 years?
Oh, gosh. I've made all kinds of bets. Who knows?
Take that picture. That's creeping me out. Ryan Day is really creeping me out.
Oh, shit. All the coaching changes, though, I thought the Commanders hiring Quinn was a good hire. I thought bringing in Kingsbury was a better hire for him. I thought that was huge.
Yeah, because he is definitely he knows, as we all do, that he is inept with the offense.
Correct. Jimmy Lake, defensive coordinator, he was the coach. Well, a lot of connections. He was a coach at the Huskies. They fired him after 2 years and hired DeBoer from Fresno, which he did not do well at college. He was an NFL guy, and
Who did Jimmy Lake?
Yeah, he's going to stay in the NFL now.
Yeah, he's at Atlanta now.
Raheem Morris gets the Falcons job. Who'd they hire as their offensive? Oh, Zach Robinson. OSU
right
connection.
there.
Sorry, I was thinking about Arthur Smith went somewhere. Where did Arthur Oh, he went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
And they are, some of those fans, I've seen some good
He's
social media on that. They're pissed. They are pissed.
Zach Orr was promoted by the Ravens.
Which he was already there. Good hire. He's going to do just fine.
There's Mike McDonald.
Yes. And Ken Dorsey got hired by was he the Cleveland guy? Cleveland?
Ken Dorsey?
Yeah. He got fired from the Bills and went to the...
Somebody's son got hired, too.
Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
lot of coaching moves. I mean...
Well, yeah, so we got Brady. I think Dorsey
which is going to stay. Yeah, he got fired. Dorsey. Yeah, and Brady was the interim. They're going to keep him, obviously.
Linebackers, for the Bills, the linebacker coach, Bobby Babbage. Babbage has been promoted.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into all these.
Hey, do you think...
I don't want to get into all of the other histories.
No, but speaking of the Bills, though, do you think this is his last year? Do you think he's got the... I mean, we're obviously...
McDermott?
Yeah, we're obviously prognosticating to next year.
I don't...
But do you think he's got a pretty good hot seat?
No.
Really? I mean, don't you think... I mean, you look... I got to thinking, I was driving in the truck and is listening to some things and listening to my...
Why do they keep firing coaches? Why do they keep firing?
I'm just kidding. No, do you? So you're kind of one of those guys that thinks it could get worse. Could get worse. Is that what you're saying? Kind of one of those. Hey, you're firing a good coach, and whatever you potentially could hire, it could get worse. Well, I like that theory too. But I think when do you?
But I don't know when
you
this.
Keep being runner-up.
But I don't know when this trend started. Well, I'd say 5 years. If you're still the runner-up, then make a change.
Well, when's the Bills? What year are we on?
3, 4.
I think that they should have made a Super Bowl.
Well, they should have made the last 3 years.
Okay, and this would have been 4 or could have.
No.
Let's not use the word should have. Let's use could have.
Could have. Yeah.
And you've got Mahomes.
I got 2 more years.
I
got 2 more years.
So you would give that coach 2 more years.
2 more years.
What if they went 9-8 or 10
here's the thing in Buffalo.
10-7.
They have changed out. They've changed out the offensive coordinator, and they've changed out the offensive coordinator twice.
Well, this year though, so they're going to get the same one next year. They can't use that excuse.
Yeah, and they have a new
defensive coordinator. So. Yes.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, I just think that's an odd. I think that's one of those jobs. I mean, I even think that
look at Tomlinson.
I even think Tampa's coach. I think Todd Bowles is going to be a little bit on the hot seat. Next year.
Todd Bowles will definitely be on the hot seat. But that is unless they continue to improve. They go to a 10-win season.
I mean, when they went to the playoffs and they won a playoff game. And what more do you want? I mean, I'm just saying. The only team in the NFC to make the last playoff in the last 4 years. Thank you for. It was kind of a segue to bring that up. Now, allegedly,
you've made it with a losing record.
Allegedly, they're going to sign
losers.
They're going to sign. We did hire Liam Cohen.
Yeah, because you guys lost Canales.
Yes, which is fine. Liam Cohen comes in. Now, the interesting thing about him, if you don't know a history about him, is he was with Will Levis that year. Will Levis's junior year, that he had a record-breaking, smashing year. He went to the Rams the next year, then went back to Kentucky, and then he's coming back to the NFL.
Here is the interesting thing. The Bears are hiring Waldron, who spent the last 3 seasons in Seattle. And we've seen the work that he has done with...
Well, now, Canales was there with them, too, for the last 2 years.
But hold on. But we've seen what the work that's been done with Drew Lock and with Geno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Carroll or was that Waldron? And this is where you get into.
Well, no. What has nothing to do with Carroll? It's all going to be Waldron or Canales.
Well, no, you still have to oversee her. You still have to oversee the results. And
I know. I think that he's a defensive guy that just lets his offensive people do work. It's like Venables. I mean, you just have those coaches. Here, do your thing. I'm not going to be involved in that. It is what it is. You
think that's what you're supposed to do?
I do. I really do.
Is that where Belichick fucked up?
No, he screwed up because he wants to be GM too. And he doesn't build good teams. He builds good defensive units, like he did at the Giants and at the Browns.
Browns?
Yes. So.
No, there were some good defensive units in New England.
I'm saying he does build good defensive units. He can't build a team. Yeah. He hasn't had a good offensive unit since Brady left.
What about the Jets? Wasn't he supposed to take over the Jets?
He did for like a minute, didn't he?
Yeah, he turned them down and went to the Bills.
Went back.
Yeah.
Callahan gets hired by the Bengals. He was the offensive coordinator for the.
And remember, Callahan.
Sorry, I said that wrong. Callahan got hired by the Titans, who was the offensive coordinator at the Bengals, who doesn't call plays. But interesting fact, you know who his dad is?
Callahan breaks an auto.
Bill Callahan. So Bill left.
Bo Callahan?
Yes, Bo Callahan. He actually left whatever team he was at. Where was he at? Was he?
Bo Callahan was last I knew he was
Browns. He was a Browns offensive line, and they which was a cool move on them. Let him go, and he said, "Hey, go coach with your son." It's kind of one of those deals. So he's at the Titans with Callahan. So now I don't know if he's going to
Callahan.
I don't know if he's going to call the plays or what, but yeah, Dorsey did get hired. I don't know. Getsy got hired. Your former OC got hired by somebody. I don't know.
Wasn't it Carolina that hired Getsy?
Van Pelt.
They hired.
Van Pelt got hired by. Was it Ken Dorsey and Van Pelt both at Cleveland now? God, coaching change. It'll be fun.
It's been a crazy. This has been one of the craziest coaching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coaching season.
Van Pelt got fired, and now it's Ken Dorsey.
Okay. Well, do they still have Schwartz as their D coordinator?
Yeah, and he got a couple awards for Assistant of the Year too.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Oh, and Mike Zimmer. Did it happen? Is it? It's not official yet. That's the rumor I was going to talk about.
Oh yeah, I heard that
Zimmer,
today. So, yeah, it's.
But it's not official yet.
I don't think it's official, but yeah, they said that they're hiring him. So.
Jerry, he's going to wait till Monday after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that's a great. I think that's a great hire, and I'm going to mark it down, slap a label on it. The defensive secondary for the Cowboys will be much improved with him under leadership. And that's nothing against Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn is a raw, go. I mean, he's got people moving everywhere.
Oh, that's Jacksonville hired Nielsen.
Mike Zimmer's he's a good teacher, especially in the secondary. I think that was a hell of a hire if Dallas can get it done. I know Vrabel was talked about, but I think Mike Zimmer makes more sense. So anyway, anything else on the NFL? Coaching wise, before we move into our Super Bowl,
well, they got the
breakdown.
big list of the Chargers, all the things that the Chargers have hired, trying to fix that.
Okay, so one thing, Greg Roman got hired, which obviously Greg Roman's going to be a run guy. He did so well at Baltimore when he was the offensive coordinator. But so what I thought about that, rumor has it that Saquon Barkley, Saquon, sorry, that the Jim Harbaugh.
How bad I am.
At least I knew it was close. I just can't. Mine's a pronunciation thing. Yours is just way out of.
I just don't care.
Yeah. So, but no. So you look at Harbaugh. Whoever's the starting running, and maybe they could have Eckler and Barkley next year as a tagged. But fantasy, I was thinking about. Barkley, I was thinking about fantasy. As you look at Keenan Allen, and you look at Justin Herbert's stats, fantasy wise, I promise you they're going to be way down.
Yeah, they're not going to be throwing first.
Yeah. Now they might win more. And they're a better team probably, but the stat wise is gonna be way down, way down.
Oh my God, they hired Kellen Moore.
Had you not know that?
I had not know that.
Yeah, and Vic Fangio is.
I knew Fangio was there.
Another cool move.
I did not know that Kellen Moore was hired.
That was a cool move by Miami too. They let him go to be closer to his family up there. So yes,
they just didn't have anything together. They didn't. How do you explain it? It was a hey, come in and fix this,
and they improved.
Kinda. And they did. They were way better than they were last season, but it wasn't. I think Fangio came in knowing that it wasn't going to be a permanent.
You know who did a really good job though, as we finished up on coaching, and he was a new coach last year. I thought that Brian Flores, what he done with the Vikings defense, was very underrated. Wasn't a lot of talk about it, but I thought they looked.
Well, they did improve.
They looked much better.
They better if he had them last season, they would have won a couple more.
They were close
games.
To the playoffs even without Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And look at the quarterbacks they were throwing out there. So I think that now also that's another thing to talk about as far as big free agent is Kirk Cousins. So
you're going to hire. You're looking at a defensive coordinator, and it says that it's the pass game coordinator and the quarterback's coach.
Maybe they mix it up. That's surely not the Chris Harris that used to be at Denver, was it? From Bixby?
Let's go see. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to find out who Chris Harris for the Titans is.
I didn't. Well, okay. So funny story about Chris Chris Harris.
Did you meet him one day?
No. And if this is this, see, there's Chris as a football cornerback, so I don't know if it's the same guy, but
British
it's definitely not that guy.
I know that guy. He's a shitty presenter.
Chris Harris actually was a Bixby guy. Went to Kansas with big fella. Why am I missing his name? OU coach Mark Mangino. When they made their run to the Orange Bowl that year and went 12-1. Chris Harris was an integral part of that.
Born in Tulsa.
He's born in Tulsa, but he's a Bixby. Yeah, Bixby.
So is this a guy signed with?
Well, I don't know. Is that him? I mean, is he coaching now?
That's what we're looking at. Career.
Kansas.
Career.
Yeah.
Played for the Saints last year in 2022.
Yeah, surely it's a different Chris Harris then.
It's got to be. I don't see.
Nope. No coaching.
Yeah, I don't see any coaching for this.
Where is Chris Harris though? Now we need to know.
Who? This Chris Harris?
Yes. Because he was good. He was really good.
Doesn't seem like he's anywhere.
Maybe not. Last year.
It just says that 2022 was the last season that he played.
He does some. He does some charity work too around Tulsa and stuff.
He is known. He started some children stuff.
Something, yes.
Football.
Excuse me.
Pro Bowl. He is. I don't see.
And he did win the Super Bowl. There we go. See, I didn't remember that. Oh, different guy. All right. Anything else on coaching before we close out that and we move on to the game. The game.
Pick it up at your mouth.
The game. The big game.
I don't have anything really.
College football's going to shit. Just letting you know, coaching wise, you're going to see a mass exodus. Now you've seen the Big 12 and the not Big 12. You've seen the SEC and the Big 10 of forming this committee to discuss all these issues and stuff. Yeah.
So the SEC and the Big 10 are both doing this. They're
the only proactive conferences, by the way.
Right.
The rest of them just go, okay, sounds good.
Florida State is kind of pissed off at the Big 10 and the SEC, so they might be going to the Big 12. I've heard that is one of the more...
Can they even get out of the ACC contract?
There is 2 lawsuits. There is a antitrust lawsuit against them from the ACC,
and then there's some other
they
ones.
have theirs trying to get the money reduced to get out of the ACC, and then you turn in and you've got the NCAA going after Tennessee, Florida, Florida State about the NIL violations.
Yeah.
And then,
funny how the NCAA's coming after that when everything's just fucking Wild West.
And now you've got Dartmouth students trying to form a union. I just read that earlier.
Oh, okay. So do this. Think about this, though. And all I got to...
Because the judge said that they were employees, and I'm like... So
that's
why
coming.
are they even going to school? Yeah. So we're going to end up with a collegiate players union, which would be fine. It would help.
But then they're going to talk about now we don't have to go to school. We
don't have to go to school.
Yeah. And the NCAA just sits back with their thumb up the rear and goes, "Well, we'll figure it out later." I mean, they've never been proactive about anything.
Yeah.
All they care about is when the basketball comes around. And
this guy.
Oh, okay. And so I just don't understand. I mean, everyone knows it's like the Titanic when it's starting to maybe it's hit the crater or it's hit the iceberg, starting to leak a little bit. Just hadn't really sunk and broken half yet, but they keep waiting. It's like they're waiting on the Mayday call, and they just keep waiting. They're waiting. The lifeboats are just up there because what's happening is it's not a coincidence that Texas Longhorn football is now relevant, and they're going to be relevant in the SEC because of money. It has nothing to do with anything else.
No. There's a lot of schools that are now only relevant
because of money.
Texas A&M, and I've heard that Texas A&M wants to leave the SEC to go to the Big 12 or go to the Big 10 due to Texas. Just because they still have a tiff with Texas.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to play them.
They keep running from Texas.
But I love to see that.
Why do they keep running from Texas? Why don't they stand up?
Those games to play is going to be great.
Okay,
I can't wait for that.
So somebody screwed up in the article. It wasn't quarterbacks coach. It was cornerbacks coach.
Well, maybe they did both. I mean, cross training, that type deal.
We don't have those guys anymore. Those kind of people don't exist.
I didn't say dressing. I said
it's
kind
of like if you hired Craig Sampson as your fire chief and police chief.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the big
God,
game.
he would hate himself so much.
Let's talk about the big game. So we've talked about it a little bit last week. I led with I didn't lead, but I kind of closed up with I thought that.
Oh no, you lead all the time. You just keep yakking.
No, I thought the Chiefs would probably win. I haven't changed my opinion on that. The spread open.
My opinion hasn't changed on it either.
The spread right now is continuously been it's been 1.5 to 2, depending on where you want to get it. But 70. But one interesting stat was
it's been under 3, and it hasn't gone over 3. Has
it hasn't ever went to 2.5. It hasn't hit 2.5 at all.
I think you said one hit 2.
None. I was joking. I said I was kind of waiting to see if one would. 77% right now is according to the Vegas site that 77% of the 77% of the money is on the Chiefs, and 68% of all bets have been for the Chiefs, whether it's been just on the game, prop bets, whatever. So I want to talk a little bit about just the breakdown. I mean, Sean, give me your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions on what you think the besides the matchups, what's going to be key to this game, depending on who wins whatever. I mean, give me a few thoughts on that and see what you think.
Well, so I love me Brock Purdy. He's my man. He's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Spagnuolo's not going to let up in the game.
41 minutes. Sean says Purdy sucks. Okay, go ahead.
I said I love Purdy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking anything bad.
Okay.
But Spagnuolo is not going to let up on the pressures, and that offensive line has to be ready and healthy for those pressures. They have to be able to pick up they pick up those pressures and they keep him clean. It's going to be a 49ers Super Bowl. But I guarantee you that the way that line looked this season and the way that they picked up pressures, playing against Schwartz's defense and Monken's defense.
Yeah. Monken's an offensive coordinator.
Oh, well, who was Baltimore?
McDonald.
You
were close.
Yeah, see? McDonald's, McMunkins. But yet, so that line has not picked up a lot of heavy pressures. And those games that they lost were all heavy pressures. Now, they did come back in the last 2 games. 3 games? 2 games they've come back. But that's only because the other team took their foot off the gas. What's his nuts in Campbell in Detroit? Everybody was questioning his coaching in the second half of that game when they had railed off 21 points to begin with.
Yeah, they were down
17 points.
Yeah, they were down by 17 to the Lions at one point.
And so for the Niners to win, you gotta keep Purdy. You got to keep the pressures off Purdy, even though in those last 2 games he did use his legs and he did avoid sacks, and he kept the plays going. I'm taking the Chiefs due to they've been there the last 3 years, 4 years,
4 to 5,
4 to 5 years. I'm taking KC just on experience alone.
This is their 4th year.
Right, but
yeah.
But I'm saying I'm taking
2 losses.
I'm taking
2 wins, 1 loss.
Yeah, I'm taking them on their experience alone. Now, would I love to see Shanahan and the boys win one? Yes, I would. Steve Wilkes have another Super Bowl title? Yes. Brock Purdy, the young gunslinger? Absolutely, because it would piss Kenny off so bad. I want the Niners to win just to piss Kenny off.
Not really, because I think it's still just the better team.
It's going to come down to Spagnuolo's defense and what he does with that.
I would agree. I mean, I think what you said about Spag's defense is number one. That was one of my keys. We've talked a little bit on the air, but we've talked about a lot off the air when we have our conversations that Spagnuolo's defense has been way underrated as far as that's
it right there.
That's right now. I think it opened at 1.5. If you go, where's the
their
opening?
Right there? Their opening was 2.5.
No, that is a show opening. Go over further. You'll show the open. Anyway, is that them right now though?
This is them right now. The black one is them right now.
I know, but who's over here?
That's their opening.
2.5. Okay, I was wrong, man. But boy, somebody got some bets on that. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to bet. I mean, going back to the defense. I mean, Spag's defense. That's
anything under 3 is hard to cover.
You've look at what. Okay, let's just break down the playoff run so far. You beat the Dolphins, who's got a good offense.
Fast speed offense, but you beat them in the cold, and we all know that they play like shit in the cold.
I totally agree, but you still beat a good offense. Then you had to go and you play Josh Allen, runner-up MVP, who's got a good offense.
Should have went to the Super Bowl again for the 15th season.
But they beat them, and the defense, had to close that deal out. And then you talk about playing the MVP after that. I mean, the run that the Chiefs have made is way stronger.
No, you want to talk about that bullshit MVP?
Hold on. I'm just telling you. I mean, because
the guy who didn't deserve the MVP
that was
won the MVP?
That was through the year. That was not for the regular season, not for the playoffs. And the offense was good, and the defense was good, and Mahomes scored, and they shut down Lamar Jackson and that offense. And then you turn around and you look at the 49ers. They get
Which wasn't hard because Lamar Jackson had been shut down numerous times in the season.
49ers get a bye week. They turn around and they play. The first game is the Packers, who's the team that's sliding in at the end, one of the youngest teams in NFL, and honestly had a chance to win that game with Jordan Love, first year starting quarterback. And so, and I was right. And then Purdy played very average until the end, until the last play. Then you talk about the 49ers. They play the Lions. They go down by 17 points. I think it was 24-7 at half or something to that nature. But it was a big lead. And then their coaching staff got in the way of the Lions winning that game, and they handed it over to the 49ers.
You're so angry when we're saying the same thing.
No, but in reality, though,
Except for the stupid Packers.
But in reality, the 49ers are lucky, not lucky, because they got the 1 seed. They didn't have to play the 3 games. I thought that the Chiefs have continued to get better. It's like the Jayhawks, like I talked about earlier. As you roll to the March Madness, as they roll to the playoffs,
well, they're better.
The team is starting
postseason team.
This team, well, they're just overall the team is starting to play better.
Remember the Patriots? The Patriots would start out shitty, start out horrible.
Giants were kind of that way too. When Eli won the two Super Bowl runs. That had a little bit of luck, but
that was what's his nuts' coach,
Coughlin. But they would always, when it come to playoff time, they would be there. They would show up.
Steelers were that way for a long time.
With Cowher.
Any Andy Reid team was that way.
So my whole deal is and I'm not, and we get into a lot of different stats. I mean, like you said, Sean, 4th Super Bowl. This is their 4th in 5 years. The defense Spags. It was second least amount of points led in the NFL. I think Mahomes is 3-0.
Led or allowed?
Allowed. Sorry, Allegedly. Shut up. Mahomes.
So there's now a new stat line.
Mahomes,
the alleged points.
Mahomes 3-0 against the 49ers. Not that means a lot.
Yeah, because he's played against 4 different quarterbacks.
And then and Pacheco. I mean, we talk about the MVP, and I'm kind of leading that as we do our predictions.
Well, and you got to
later.
Okay, you're going to get into that. You got to get into Rice catching now.
Well, no, and that was another thing that I read that
he's come on.
The Chiefs had the highest drop percentage the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those guys were on my fantasy team. I can tell you they sucked. That's why I finished 7th. Anyway, I still blame them.
That's not why you finished 7th.
Anyway, and my generational guys came on later. But anyway,
you finished 7th because you suck. You're a terrible manager.
But I think that, and we'll talk. I'm just giving you some little info on this. Keys to winning the game. We'll talk about in just a smid. But Dallas gets a lot of shit about the last Super Bowl they won. It's been longer for the 49ers to win a Super Bowl than Dallas.
They've been to the Super Bowl.
But I know
Dallas has not been to the Super Bowl.
Doesn't matter. I mean, Dallas gets a lot of shit.
Niners have been there. The Cowboys have not been there.
So getting there and losing is better
than not getting there at all.
Well, no, some people have different opinions. I just think a lot of shit goes to Dallas's way because they haven't won a Super Bowl. And,
some people murder fish. Some people know how to keep the tank clean.
San Francisco's been, to 2 Super Bowls since they won? I know they went with Harbaugh, and then 3 or 4 years ago with Shanahan.
Oh, well, if you count this one, it's 3.
This would be the 3rd, yes.
God, thank you for getting into my face to tell me that this would be the...
A couple things I wanted to talk about, though.
Hook up a little divider.
I was looking... Yeah.
A little window for you to spit on.
We talk about Purdy a little bit. Purdy's a second-half quarterback. He really is. And it's not quite 50%.
Very few games has he started strong.
It's not quite
in the first.
It's not quite 50%. but it's pretty close. It's within like 35 to 40. That the
Start talking shit
QBR.
on it.
Hold on, that the QBR gets better in the second half, and we've seen that in the playoffs. Yes or no? We have. So my whole deal is I think. Would you say that the Chiefs is the best defense that the San Francisco 49ers has played so far in this playoffs?
No.
Who do you think's better?
Oh, that they're going to face?
Yes, that's just what I said. Is the Chiefs the best defense they've played in the playoffs this year?
No, the Detroit defense is better.
But statistically, it's not. It's not even close.
Oh, they're a faster defense. They're more put together. They didn't have to come on late.
Welcome to the bullshit hour with Sean.
They didn't have to come on. No, they are the better defense.
No, they didn't have to come on late in the season. It was the offense that came on late in the season for the Chiefs. The defense has been consistent. The defense has won the games. By far, the defense for the Chiefs has been the hardest. That's going to be the hardest one, obviously in the playoffs, but it potentially could be the hardest defense that Purdy has seen all year.
All year.
All year.
What about Schwartz? I believe that Cleveland was leading the defense.
Did they play them?
They played them.
Okay, so second hardest.
They played them and lost. They also played Baltimore.
But I did say
they played Baltimore.
I did say starting in the playoffs. So
I think
that was my first question.
I think the only team they beat in the Central was the Steelers.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that, didn't we? And they had a pretty good defense too.
Yeah.
But I said in the playoffs to begin with.
I know you did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they did play. They faced defenses that Kansas City had faced.
Did they win all those games? I couldn't remember.
No, they lost all. They lost all.
They
But
okay.
They lost all but the Steelers.
So what's that? Okay. So
there was their three losses on the season.
So tough defenses kind of scare Purdy a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's constant pressure.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing about the Detroit game, was why they took the break off, why they took the pressure off of him. And then when they put it back on, they realized, oh, we're fucking up. They put it back on. It was too late. And Brock Purdy was in his Superman zone where, he just couldn't get tackled and he was running for 30 yards. At that point, it was he was in his zone and he was ready and they won and he brought him back.
Okay, so...
You think Kansas City's going to do that? I don't.
I don't know because... So Purdy does better. This is funny, too. It was a stat. And I know you're not even going to think it because when I first read this stat, I thought... it's kind of the point that I've been trying to prove.
Purdy's better on fourth downs?
Purdy does better in man coverage than he does in zone.
Yeah, I know.
So if you have the talent, man coverage usually man-on-man beats. So the zone confuses him. Maybe, is that the word I should use? Or
what is Patrick
maybe
Mahomes?
just less. I don't know. I didn't look at that stat.
Of course you didn't.
No, I thought it was funny.
Oh,
but
of course we don't.
But hold on. But I want to tell you something, though. For the 49ers fans, is that I think the Chiefs are like 4th or 5th in the league for zone defense. They do play a lot of zone because they hope the pressure. It's kind of like what we saw, and it's going to be concerning to see if the defense is going to have to change it up a little bit.
Where the hell would I even go to find those stats?
But
where did you find those stats?
Just looking different.
Twitter?
No, just looking at different.
All my stats come from Twitter.
No, just looking at different things. I told you about the drop percentage for the Chiefs. I think the key, though, to this game, besides the defense, because I think that why I'm picking the Chiefs to win is simply because the defense is going to be better. I do think, what was it, Sean, could you pull up when you get done, could you pull the over-under on this game? I think it was 47.5, maybe 48. We're going to pick that, too, when we do our predictions here shortly.
Oh, I went away from
and
that.
So
over-under doesn't change from people to people.
Do what?
I was the over. I was confused. The over/under doesn't change.
Okay.
Where's the scores?
I've talked about defense for the majority of it. I've talked about Brock Purdy and his attributes that sometimes aren't as good as others. Let's talk about the offenses for both teams, though. And I think the key is
47.
47.5. Okay. So we'll talk. We'll put that as 47.5. It's a half number. I think the defense. I think the offense in this game. We talked about defense. Both defense are good. Linebackers for the 49ers, I think, excel the most on that defense. I mean, you're going to get some pressure from the line, but I think the linebackers is the highest quality unit on the San Francisco defense. But I think their secondary is the weakest. It's going to be interesting to see how they use Kelsey, and then Pacheco and McCaffrey. McCaffrey led the league in rushing this year. Pacheco, had a hell of a year last year.
Good to come on at the end of the year.
Come on at the end of the year. So I think do you think that the team that wins is there any stat that you just get out there? We're not talking turnovers, but I mean, do you have when you look at the end of the game, do you think, oh, well, they outrushed them? or they outpass them. I mean, I think the passing's going to be pretty even, and to be honest, I think it's going to come down to the rushing game and the defense of what's going to win this game.
That's crazy.
So, anyway,
I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes' career against zone and man coverage. There was a 3-game stint there in 2018 that he just was horrible against man. And then in the end of 2018, he excelled against man. But now his man's gone back down and his zone's gone
back
up.
To average.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I think, and you know what though, you can't really look. Is that well?
This is all 2019.
Okay, but see, that's funny. Is that the teams he played?
Yeah.
So that kind of shows you some of the teams he was higher on than less, and that's a lot about schedule though too. But I thought both teams have played a tough schedule this year.
They have.
Did we? We need to go back and see who we actually picked to be in the Super Bowl. I don't remember.
I don't think we ever did.
I think I picked this one. This was my prediction. Maybe no. I don't know who else in this. I know we were high on the Cowboys.
I was high on San Francisco the whole season.
Yeah, we all were. So I mean, and they were the 1 seed, and the Chiefs, I thought, underperformed regular season. They got the 3 seed, and then turned around and put it on. So I think there's always a surprise player in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's going to be on the winning team that excels. I was not necessarily that he wasn't a star. But
No. There was an article I was reading today or yesterday. How many Sooners playing in the Super Bowl? Craig Sampson was needing to know. Trent Smith, Blake Bell, Creed Humphreys.
God, I don't know. There's a bunch. I know we lead it. I think there's 6. Trent's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That got me confused. What were we?
Go ahead. You're reading an article about something.
Unsung heroes, about guys that is their that's their biggest accomplishment. Even one play, even if it's just one.
Okay, I was right about the 6. Go ahead, see if you can guess them.
Well, I've already got 3 of them.
Okay.
I don't know the other 3.
Blake Creed, Wanya Morris. He's a starter.
Okay,
freshman.
so
and
Morris.
Then Winchester is the long snapper.
Okay.
Yes. And I forgot Braden Willis was on the 49ers.
Oh, that's right, Braden
Willis.
Willis.
Let's Google up Texas Longhorns in the Super Bowl. Go ahead and continue.
Probably Sarah.
Never. I don't. Has a Texas Longhorn ever made a Super Bowl?
Well, Chris Sims
make it? No, I don't think so.
I forgot.
He was a commentator in the Super Bowl. Maybe in the sideline media.
I don't even think they allowed him there. I think they kept him in studio.
Anyway, go back to your story.
Acho has to stay in studio as well. But yeah, it was an article about how you can be a nobody all season or your entire career, but
Larry Brown made a lot of money.
You have that one game in the Super Bowl. You get to the Super Bowl with your team, you have that one play, or you have that entire game, that series that you are the hero. And that's what you live on. What's his nuts? Remember defensive back for New England who intercepted the stupid pass from Russell Wilson whenever they should have just ran it in.
Oh, gosh.
That guy. And then that guy.
Larry Brown is the one I remember from the Cowboys. They got a huge contract with the Cardinals. So that guy got a huge contract, bounced around, and ended up coming back to New England. And just, lasted another year or 2 in the league. I think the New York Giants have had a few guys that were that way. But yeah, you get these guys that nobody's ever heard of, nobody knows about. You'll probably see a receiver come out of nowhere to ball out, have a huge game. Well, that says won the Super Bowl. Oh, I didn't even put in.
We're still trying to figure out if there's any Longhorns in the Super Bowl.
Oh, there's none this year. That's a fact. 1969, there was a few. Let's see. Oh, look at 82. Steve McMichael, he played for them.
Mongo McMichael? He needs to be in the Super Bowl or in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's got in this year, actually. Yes,
yeah, he's on a death.
Terry Orr, Terry Tosh,
Dan
like Neal, Derek Lewis, Priest Holmes. Oh, I forgot about Priest. He's the only relevant one. Aaron Ross, yes.
Yeah, because he didn't beat his girlfriend.
Yes. Lima Swede won one with Steelers. I bet he didn't catch a single pass.
Oh, Jermichael Finley.
Justin Tucker. He was there? I didn't realize that.
We got little Earl Thomas.
You got about 10. We got 6 just showing up this year. Or 11, I mean. We got was it 11? Sorry, did I already
You said it was 6.
It was 6. 6 just this year.
6 just
4 and 2, yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Sorry, Craig. Maybe you can get some of that Texas money and they can send some
Buy
kids.
a Super Bowl? That's
They can-
possible.
yeah.
That's possible.
Texas Longhorns present a Super Bowl.
I think Pacheco.
A Super Bowl story.
I think Pacheco, or I think like a receiver like IU.
Yeah, but Pacheco's not.
No,
Pacheco's
no,
a
no.
name. I mean,
No.
you're looking for the
No,
underdog.
I'm not necessarily.
You're looking for a Blake Bell. If Blake Bell comes in and balls out at tight end, and just all of a
or
sudden,
some, no, but I don't think there's going to be a hero that we've never heard of. I just think there's going to be one hero. You know, Larry Brown. You know, those guys were starters anyway, and they just excelled better. I just think you're going to find someone in this game, especially on offense, that's just going to take over the game. Whether Pacheco, could be McCaffrey. Wouldn't surprise anybody, but there's going to be an all-star there. I don't think it's going to be McCaffrey because I think the Chiefs are really going to look to shut him down, catching and passing. You're going to have Ayuk. You're going to have Debo. Those are the guys that's going to have to make the plays for there. And even Kittle. You know, Kittle hasn't had a good year statistic-wise, and maybe he is the X factor. Now, you look back at San Francisco defense, they're going to be hot and heavy.
Who asked this dumbass question?
They're going to be hot and heavy on Kelsey and Rice. And so you're going to have and I think that's why Pacheco comes in. And maybe you're right, Sean. Maybe it's a Bell. Maybe it's a Gray playing the tight end. Maybe when they run the 2 tight end set. It's going to be interesting to see what the offense comes up for them. But a couple things. You know, Mahomes right now is tied for 3rd place for all-time playoff wins in the NFL. Do you know that already, how young he is? Can you name the 3 people that he's tied with at 15 wins right now? He's tied with 3 players already, Mahomes, for playoff wins.
Dan Marino.
No.
I'm sorry. I love Dan Marino. I wish he had a better career.
Yeah. I mean, he was the guy that went to the Super Bowl.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's one.
Eli Manning.
No.
Dude,
I can't read my second guy. Don't look at my 3rd guy. Looking back on
Trent Dilfer.
No.
Eddie George.
No.
Brad Johnson.
Don't be hating. Don't you be hating on Brad Johnson.
Jim Harbaugh.
Hey, you know what? That was
Jim Harbaugh.
You brought that up. I don't know if I brought it about, but Dermott reminds me a lot about Tony Dungy. Had the team already
Tony
there,
Dungy?
and then they made a change.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know, Dungy was always on the precipice, but never got him there. Then he ended up at Indianapolis. Quarterback said he's already. Was it Joe Montana? Was he going to be one?
Hold on, I can't read my writing.
Tom Brady?
Oh, no, Tom Brady's way in the lead. It's a reason I wanted to
Steve
bring
Young?
that stat.
Is it Steve Young? Are you trying
No,
to
because it's quite amazing to see what the difference is.
I'm trying to name Super Bowl quarterback. Troy Aikman.
It's playoff wins. Playoff
Well,
wins.
Troy Aikman. How many did he have?
Wasn't him.
Vinny Testaverde. Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly had a lot of playoff wins. You don't go 4 years in a row and not have a lot of playoff wins.
But he was only 3-6-9. You know what I mean? So
Well, I guess.
even 12. So
Yeah, but still, that's 12 wins.
yeah, it was.
I
couldn't read my writing.
Brett
Okay.
Favre.
You're missing somebody that was around around the
Hand. What have I told you? This is why we're
you're
gonna
missing
ball.
someone that was around the
Brett Favre.
No, around his era though. That's why I couldn't read that.
Oh, John Elway.
Yes, John Elway. Those 3 are tied for 15 playoff wins. Second place right now is, you'd already mentioned it, was Joe Montana with 16 playoff wins.
Where's Jim Kelly?
He's not on there.
Why?
He hasn't made 15. Tom Brady, 35 playoff wins.
Tom Brady, 35.
No, I just saw that stat. I was like, holy shit, look at the difference. Joe Montana's second with 16 playoff wins.
If I buy you a Tom Brady blow-up doll, will you use it?
No, I'm just saying it's amazing to. I mean, they're talking. I mean, there's. I mean, at the talk this week, it's tough to listen to a lot of
should I
Super
go buy
Bowl.
you
No, hold
80
on.
for Brady?
No, to Super Bowl talk, because it's just constant about Mahomes, about being the greatest. And right now, he is one of the best quarterbacks, obviously, in the league right now. But he doesn't match. He's not. It's going to take him a little longer to match the statistical accomplishments of Tom Brady. All right. Anything
I don't
else?
think anybody really cared.
Anything else on the Super Bowl?
Oh, Justin Tucker. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, we've already talked about him.
He's gone.
Ready?
Oh, no,
ready?
he's
ready?
gone.
Ready? Ready?
Nope.
Ready? Rapid? Ready?
Charles,
rapid?
I'm looking at Texas Longhorns. Charles Omanahu of Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, they have a guy on the practice squad if you count practice squad.
Last stat for that I'm going to leave you with.
I think that's it. I think that's really it.
Yeah. Last stat that I'm going to. Yeah, but we looked at in the Super Bowl, so we had.
No. Technically, he's in the Super Bowl. That
Omaha. Guy, but it was one.
No, not Tucker. Tucker's gone. Tucker's.
But
kicker.
he's won one. Or been.
Oh yeah. No, but
so
I'm talking about if you look at him right now, no.
Anyway, last stat I have
are smart
is
enough to not hire.
Last stat I had is Taylor Swift watching the Chiefs play.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I knew I did trigger you. 9-3 is her record right now.
An update
live and in person.
Just so you know, an update on Taylor Swift. She will be safely flown. She'll get through Tokyo International Airport, and she will be safely flown right to Las Vegas. So let's not worry. She'll be there. To all my Kansas City Swifties out there.
All right, we're getting ready to wrap it up. We thank everyone that had joined us. Sean,
except for you, Craig, you can suck it.
Parting thought, Sean. I want you to talk about the keys to the game. You've talked a little bit, but finish it up. Hold on, finish it up. I want a over under 47.5. Who you going with? Over the under, and then I want a final score.
Okay, Daddy. Keys to the game. Keeping the pressure off Purdy. For the Niners, keep the pressure off Purdy. Open that run game up. Make sure McCaffrey can get, because Chiefs have one of the better run defenses. Correctly.
Correctly.
Better
on scoring defense, though. That's going to be the key. But go ahead. Yes.
Well, but that's what I'm trying to get. Gotcha. This is just on the Niners side.
I'm with you.
Keeping the wide receivers. If you keep those wide receivers flying and going, you will be able to move the ball. Keep the pressure. You want an even amount of run pass. For the defense is stopping Mahomes in his cute time plays, keeping Travis Kelce under wraps, because you know that those wide receivers still might drop the ball. So you're gonna have to watch Rice, and you're gonna have to definitely keep pressure on Kelce. For the Kansas City Chiefs, just go out and ball. I don't think they're going to have to definitely stop McCaffrey. And like you said, as long as they're running a zone defense, they should have Brock Purdy pretty much confugled and keep the pressure on him. As for their offense, you got to get Kelce open. It's the exact opposite of for the Niners. You got to get Kelce open. You got to get Rice to keep the ball. You got to get those young guys to keep holding onto the ball when they catch it. Get them open. Get your run game. Get Pacheco out there in the air, not in the air, in the fucking zone. What is that area?
Fly, Pacheco.
What is that area in the flats? You got to get him out there. You're gonna have to keep him open as an option.
All right, so you got to keep Purdy safe, run the ball for 49ers, stop Mahomes, cover Kelce. Obviously, Kansas City, just keep playing what you're doing, play fast.
Mm-hmm. Don't take your foot off the brake.
Yeah.
Slam a jam.
Yep.
Slam a jammer.
And then on defense, hold the ball from McCaffrey and pressure Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me over under 47.5. What are you doing?
What did I say? I said last week they were going to win by 7.
Oh, shoot. I need a predicted score, too.
Yeah, I said they were going to win by 7. So what would 27-20? That would be 47. So I'm just taking the under.
Okay. 27.
27-20, taking
Chiefs.
the under. KC.
Okay. All right, and obviously taking KC. Okay. 27-20.
Okay, Kenny, what are your keys to the game?
Yeah. Easy defense. I think it's going to be defense. I think Pacheco, for Kansas City, the defense needs to confuse Purdy. You've already talked about it. Stop McCaffrey and keep the receivers short passes. Don't give anything deep, because the red zone defense and the points scored has been well for Kansas City.
It's something that we didn't bring up. You're going to have to watch the yak on those Niners.
Led the league, obviously. And actually the biggest yak since 2017.
Which means that they got some greasy, wiggly wide receivers.
You got to keep the receivers in check. And make
those boys are going to get loose, and they're going to get loose.
You're going to pound McCaffrey, obviously, on the line. That's what you're going to have to do. But you're going to have to play a good zone, and you're going to have to confuse Purdy.
Oh, and also your God, I keep wanting to say secondary. Your special teams. Special teams are something that we never really bring up, but
rookie kicker for the 49ers.
In this game, they are very important because in the last few games for both teams, I have seen some ugly special teams and some beautiful special teams.
Rookie kicker,
depending on how you're looking at it.
Rookie kicker for the 49ers, and he has not played well towards the end of the game. I'm glad you brought that up. I had that.
So the Niners.
I think
Niners have gotten lucky. They got lucky in that Detroit game. With special team.
Yeah.
Well, no, not with his kicking, but with the getting the ball back. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs they got lucky on some botches. I don't think either team's really had a guy get loose for a touchdown for kick or punt. Correct?
Oh, I don't remember.
But
but like I said, keep receivers in check, confuse Purdy. Chiefs offense, I think Pacheco's MVP. I don't know why. I just got this feeling. I think you got to run the ball. I think he makes
he's had an amazing playoff run.
I think he makes a big play
he's had a better impact in the playoffs than anybody else.
I think the defense, I think the linebackers are going to focus way too much on Kelsey. I'd like to see when they run a two tight end set for the Chiefs, whether it be Gray or Bell, and Kelsey at the same time to see what they do. I'm going to take the over on this game. I think it's a little bit higher scoring.
What, 28-24?
No, I think it's even more than that because I think it starts. Yeah, I think I'm going to do like a 31-27 is what my final is. 31-27. That'll be a 58 point. I think it goes over quite a bit. I think it starts off a little slow, but I think big plays in this game are going to be key, and I think they're going to be given up. Honestly, when we finish this up, on paper, San Francisco's the more talented team.
I got that.
Except at quarterback.
But I don't. Well, the thing is that I don't take on paper. I'm not one of those people that look at it and say, "Oh yeah, well this team coming." How many times? Yeah, how many times have we watched the title game?
Well, okay.
And this team coming in on Arizona basketball, best team on paper.
Yeah. Well, basketball.
What have they done?
Basketball's generally a night and day.
No. Football can be too.
But I think this is
football can be too because we
has the spread been any lower in any Super Bowl games? We should have pulled that up as far as an old stat
like
to see.
Recent?
Yeah, within the past 10 years has it been. I mean, because you have to think about these two teams. If either team won, you wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Well, for this, no. Now, last year I know that we expected Philly to come in and slaughter Kansas City, and
not me at all. Not me at all.
The exact op.
They were weakest at quarterback, and that's why they lost. Quarterback generally wins the game in your Super Bowls.
Who year before was Tampa, and we all expected Tampa to lose that game.
They slaughtered the Chiefs. Thank you. I didn't expect a slaughter, but I was happy. And the better quarterback won.
God, you're such a.
And then the Chiefs won the year before, and the better quarterback won. And
who was in that one?
See, that year before the Chiefs would have played. Was that their first Super Bowl win?
I think so. I believe so.
Oh my gosh, who was it? Oh boy,
I can't remember.
That wasn't the 49er game, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay.
It was. Okay. It was the Niners. It was
Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Better quarterback won, right? Exactly. All right, I got 37. I got 31-27.
Yeah, but the prettier quarterback lost.
Took the over. God, I can't wait for tomorrow. I just hope that somebody doesn't get fucking stupid and gets out to a big lead because it's going to bore everything. But generally in Super Bowls, it starts out really slow and everybody's a little timid. It's going to be interesting to see what the offense versus the defense. If you win the coin toss, what do you do?
Oh, you defer. You always defer.
And I think on this game it's a little different, especially if it's the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win the coin toss, I think you go. I think you take the ball, you go score, and because the Chiefs are going to play better from ahead, and the 49ers' wheelhouse, and we've seen it already, especially against the Lions, is they have excelled when they're behind. I just don't. I think but I also think that the Chiefs' defense, and ultimately when we sit down after we finish this, and you go, oh, really, what won that game? I think we're all going to be talking about Spagnuolo and the Chiefs' defense winning the game, hands down. It's going to be what they done overall.
I'm taking experience over.
You like the experience.
I like the experience. The experience going in.
I'm in a close second to quarterback. That's just me.
No, you're a moron. All right. Was
stay
that
consistent. Yes, it's it.
Is that all we're doing?
We'll see you next week. We'll see you next weekend. We'll recap the Super Bowl, and then we'll delve into basketball. I'm sure we'll have a lot of softball. Then we're going to start prepping already. I mean, we're going to be into February. We'll start talking a little bit about the draft. Looks like, as a teaser, it looks like the Bears are going to stay on the number 1 pick. and we'll see what they do.
I have seen more mock drafts without Caleb Williams being at first.
That's going to be
now than I did at the beginning of the season.
You did, but they're not going to not pick him.
Why not?
You just pick him and then trade him later.
Just pick him.
If you ain't got a deal enough that you feel comfortable with, then take him.
Just don't take
trade
him.
Him later.
It
just happens. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's mentally not fit to play in the NFL.
Whatever. All right, we'll talk about that as we come up in the future. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow, and
yeah, Craig, we'll be over here in the basement.
See you later. Thank you. Night.